Hi, I'm Jalpinist, and this is the Roland R8. I found this unit used on the Kijiji, and the price was pretty reasonable. The guy actually posted it in the drum area, as opposed to the pro audio or synth area of Kijiji, which is a good sign. So I was able to get it at a reasonable price. As you can see, somewhat the body is a little scratched up, and that's to be expected on a almost 40-year-old synth. Also, the top, they use this kind of like textured top, and it's really hard to keep it without getting any scratches over the course of time. So there's a couple scratches, but I'm not concerned about that. More, I'm not looking for museum quality. I was looking really to have a machine that had really good function. I'd been looking for an R8 for a bit. They're not that hard to find, but again, I was looking for a good price. For me, it was about a certain feature on the R8. The feature being on the R8, it was a common machine used in the 90s, but also on early Autechre records and early Aphex Twin records on Ambient Works, the first Ambient Works. But there's a feature on the R8 where you can take the sample and you can pitch up or down by step, kind of like an electron machine. So I don't have a ton of room in my studio anymore for machines, but that was one machine that I wanted to grab, and if I could grab it at a reasonable price, I was cool with that. So right now I'm having trouble getting the back of the unit off, and that was pretty common for these machines, so it took a bit of time and I was trying to find out if there were instructions, if there was something I was doing wrong, but eventually here I get it open. Okay, great. So eventually I get the back open here, and that took a couple minutes. And I wanted to clean up the machine. The reason being is that when I got it, I expected to do a bit of maintenance on it, because again, it's 35 or more years old. Here I'm just removing the CMOS battery for the internal ROM. And I found that when I started using the unit, it was pretty sticky. So like some of the buttons were having difficulty triggering. So my plan was to not really, because I got the machine for pretty cheap, I wanted to get it functioning again. So my plan was to just take it apart, get any of the dust out of there, clean up the contacts on the buttons, the switches, and just give it an overall cleaning, and then put it back together and see where it stood. So here I am, just taking a look at the circuit board and kind of planning how I'm going to take it apart. So I'm identifying here that there's screws that are holding it in on stands, and then planning a way to remove all of the cabling. Some of the cabling is directed to the two circuit boards that are stacked. There's actually 3 circuit boards stacked on top of each other, but not all of the cabling leads between them. So here I'm starting to pull out. I've undone the screws and pulling it out so that I can start to remove the ribbon cables. Okay, so I've got it out here out of its foil sheath, being really careful to make sure that I'm not bending or breaking anything. You have to be really careful on old ribbon cables. The plastic degrades over time, and I'd heard before that Roland PCBs were notoriously kind of cheap and thin, and I would agree with that assessment. Definitely the connectors feel they don't inspire a lot of confidence, so you want to be really careful when you're taking stuff apart here. Okay, and just snipping off. There was just a connector being held there. So now again, disconnecting these leads here, being really careful, taking a photo of just how those leads are connected so I make sure that they're done correctly. The next thing to do here is to remove this foil sheath. There's a couple screws here. The nice thing is that I think you can see here, I'm just actually like putting it, I have an Oxy 1 and I'm just putting all the screws on the Oxy 1. I could, typically I would be more careful and separate the screws, but the nice thing on the Roland is, or on this device anyways, there's only 2 lengths of screws, and that makes it so much easier when you're doing repairs, because then you don't have to worry about different screw lengths. So here I'm just removing some of them and then just going to cut into the foil just so I can remove that cable. So just making some adjustments here. Just cutting out an area in the foil so I can remove this connector. There's some plastic over top that was hidden by some screws. There's also just some scuff marks on the base plate there. More screws to remove on the PCB I'm going to be working on. The one on top is the display, but the display on my model is good, so I'm not, the people want to have a backlit on that display, but it's not bothering me too much, so maybe I'll do that in the future. So that's the PCB I'm going to be working on, and I'm just taking a look really at all the circuit boards as I'm working to look if there's any cracks. Here I'm just like cleaning up the circuit board. One thing to note that's static, especially when circuit boards are live, they actually don't like compressed air. That can increase static, so it is better to use a vacuum. Again, that is moving air, but at least you're moving the air and you're not getting 40-year-old dust in your lungs. You're at least removing it a bit. And I've removed all of the electrical sources, so there's no battery on board, there's no charge into it, there's no big capacitors on this unit, so it would have discharged by now. And again, just I don't have a static safe station, but yeah, I wasn't too worried about it on this unit. So now I'm just gonna take a look at the board, take a look at the switches, use some contact cleaner. I lost the little nozzle, so that sucked. I couldn't find another one. So all I'm doing here is just applying some contact cleaner to each individual switch or button, and tapping it in 20 to 30 times just to make sure that I'm lubricating that switch a bunch. So I'm going to go through all of them here, and I don't think I'm going to have to show you this whole process, but we'll speed through it. Again, I would say, especially on this PCB board, when I removed it and I started working with it, I hear I've heard horror stories about Rolands where the PCB had cracked over time, and that happens on older equipment for sure. That happens often on older equipment for sure. That's not just on Roland, but the Roland PCB on this unit is like quite thin and really soft, and yeah, that's just a cheaper PCB than some other people were using in that era, and that kind of makes sense. You know, Yamaha and Roland were mass manufacturing, but you know, other models have that problem as well. But you have to be really careful when you're screwing back in the PCBs, because like I used a drill. I should have probably done it by hand, but I just was really careful about making sure I wasn't over tightening anything, because you can probably even see it in my hand. It's like flexing, and yeah, you don't really want the PCB to flex all that much, especially on a drum machine when you're repeatedly pressing these buttons over and over and over again. The drum pads were like super responsive and good. I had no problems with them. It was just the switches, actually. It was the preset button in my instance, and then a couple of the numbers were quite quite difficult to engage. And the machine itself, it's not the most complicated drum machine. It has a reputation of being kind of a beast to use, but I didn't find it very difficult, actually. You should read the manual, but I spent maybe like an hour and a half with the manual and just kind of going over it, and I got a grasp of what I needed to do with the machine reasonably quickly. And there's a manual online if you do find one. Mine came with the original manual, which was nice. So I'm almost done all of the switches here. I probably should have used gloves, in all honesty, but I'll wash my hands thoroughly after. Okay, PCB is done. I'm just taking a look at some of the corrosion on the bottom of that board, and taking a look here at the actual buttons. They're not rubber, they're just plastic, so I vacuumed them out, and then I was like, well, should I use isopropyl? But I decided to just use some contact cleaner, because that would be kinder on the plastic. We're just grabbing some Q-tips just so I can get some of the dust out of there. Could have even have used water, but I was kind of impatient. You know, whenever you're doing a repair, if you want to kind of get it back together, right? So I'm just going to go through here and just use that contact cleaner and clean up a little bit of the gook that's in the button area there, just because dust is the enemy of contact, right? So we'll remove as much as we can here. And I'll put the machine back together. So now I just wanted to show how the machine works, and yeah, just to show you kind of the Autechre trick with the pitch. So I'm just using step mode here to input. And here I'm just changing the pitches of some of what I've just inputted. Going step by step and assigning different pitch values to the bell. And there you go. If you like the video, send a like and subscribe, and there'll be more audio stuff on here for sure. Thanks again.